So in our last video, it was the early archery season, and Bradley killed his first buck, who was an 8-point.
And I'd whack him a shot.
Pap killed a nice 8-point. My dad killed a nice 9-point, and Tracy killed her first deer. So it's starting to get towards the better end of archery season. Bucks are starting to chase doe, and starting to see mature bucks that we didn't have on camera in the early season.
Looks like it's the top edge of the circle. I'd say that's probably, I'll shoot one, I would go up and look, but I'll shoot one more after that to see if it's still. All right, this year in Pennsylvania, they started something new. They started an inline Pennsylvania black bear season, and I bought myself an inline this year in hopes to do some bear hunting with it. But so I got it sighted in, got it shot in, made sure it was shooting good, and I got Dad's inline shot, make sure it was ready to go for him to kill a doe. But was real busy with a lot of things and didn't get to do a whole lot of scouting for bear, but we did have a sow with 3 cubs on the trail cam pictures here at our place. So I decided I'd just hunt here the first morning of bear season just to see if I'd see anything here. And all I seen was some doe. And I never did get to go back out bear hunting. I was taking Dad out so he could get out with his inline. So that's what we was concentrating on, was seeing Dad get his deer with the inline.
Well, I hadn't been out hunting at all since I killed my buck in archery season, so the early muzzleloader season was coming in with the inline, so I took my inline out because I had a couple doe tags I wanted to fill, and I thought that would be a perfect opportunity.
So I took Dad out on the first day of the inline season in the evening. I bear hunted in the morning, took him out to his stand. We got him on the trailer, got up there, and didn't really see much that evening. We saw some doe, but nothing that he could get a shot at. I'm recording.
Alrighty. I got this here doe up my tree stand this evening. We hadn't been seeing many doe up there, so we didn't know whether to go up there or not, but we went up and here about a little after 5, quarter after 5 or something. I seen him coming up. He was up top of the hill. I seen him coming down. There was this one and 3 other ones coming down. And I waited till I got a good shot at it, and I shot and it took off, and Matthew went and looked and found the blood and followed it a little ways, and it didn't go very far. I told him if I missed it, there was something terribly wrong, because it had it right on it when I fired, and he didn't go too far. He found it just on the other side of the quad trail. And
she only went about 30 yards, so I put his tag on it. The evening was still pretty young, so
after a few mishaps we've had, we finally scored on one.
Well, it's not quite 7:30 yet, and we're in here behind the house. Every time I hunt the stand, I can kill doe.
several evenings without seeing anything, and it was getting to be the last day, and we kept seeing deer coming out in the evenings up in the hayfield, and we was trying to figure out a way I could get my power chair up there to hunt them, so we devised a plan.
So as much as I would want to have been with my dad and Pap when he shot his inline doe up in the compressor field, I was busy with school stuff, and I sat in the kitchen by our big glass door there, and I was watching the field that they were hunting while I was doing my school stuff.
We set Dad up on the trailer on top of the wall at the compressor station, put a ground blind over top of him on the trailer to help conceal him some.
I have a ground blind that we just put over top of me, setting up on the trailer where I could watch that hayfield. It was the last evening, and while we was up there, sure enough it started to rain again. Well, we stayed dry because we had that ground blind over top of me up there.
And it was starting to get a little closer to evening, prime time, and I glanced up and I seen a doe walking through the field, so I grabbed the camera and went out there.
Right before dark they come out, and I shot one, and it took off running.
Dad got a shot at one, and it was raining pretty hard, so I told him to just sit in the blind, and I was going to hurry up and see if I could find blood and find the deer real quick. And as long as he was in the blind, he was dry. So I called Taylor real quick and told him what had happened, told him Pap had shot at one. I was pretty sure he hit it, and I was going to look for blood, and I told Taylor to get his stuff on and hurry up and come and give me a hand. It was bleeding really good. I mean, there was a lot of blood. Even though it was raining hard, you could still see a really good blood trail. Taylor met up with me about halfway on the blood trail. We followed it up, and all told it probably went about 75, 80 yards, and we found the doe.
I mean, geez, it was. Is that there she is?
We know where she's at. Maybe we ought to get Pap in before it starts raining harder and come back for her.
Yeah. Decent sized doe. Cool.
So I gave Taylor the tag for him to put on the deer and the drag rope, and I told him to get it drug out to the road that goes to the compressor station, and I was going to go get Pap and get the blind taken down, and we'd throw the deer on the trailer and head for the house to get Pap out of the rain.
Problem was, when we got back, the trailer was all wet, and we had to tilt it, and I had to drive my power chair down off of that wet, slippery trailer, and that turned out to be almost a disaster, because I started coming down. I told Taylor to get down in front of me in case I got to going and couldn't stop. Well, I started going down it sideways, and it's a good thing I had him standing there. He stopped me, and then I could get it turned around and got down off of it safely.
All was well that ends well, I guess. He filled two doe tags in the inline season, and we was looking forward to getting him out in rifle season with a pistol.
It's about 9 a.m. October 29th. I've seen 4 doe already. Last night we had a big wide buck on camera 20 yards in front of this spot. I haven't examined like 3 hours that I haven't studied for at all, so probably gonna get out of here at 11, study, and I'm really contemplating skipping chemistry.
So November 2nd, I went out to my climber that morning and forgot my cushion, and if you don't have a cushion in that tree lounge, you're not sitting up high enough to even shoot your bow. The bars will be up in your armpits almost. So pretty early that morning, I had a buck come right down the tram road and right out to the Y that I was hunting over. I was trying to pick shots at it while it was still on the tram road out at the Y. I'm trying to adjust the camera and get drawn back on him, and at 10 yards he looked up at me and spooked and ran off. What I didn't know, though, is that morning at the spot I had been hunting right behind my house, we had a trail camera there, and there's a really nice wide 8-point there that probably would have been at 25 yards if I would have hunted that spot that morning. So I went out with Liv later that evening to the creek bottom stand just because it's a good spot in the rut, and we weren't sure exactly what spot we wanted to go to. And my mom and dad went to the church Christmas dinner, and they said there was going to be some pretty good food, and I kind of was like, man, why are we in this tree when we could be eating turkey and stuffing? But we were seeing some deer, and later in the evening I looked and I saw a big deer. I knew it had to have been a buck way out across the field behind the creek bottom. It was almost standing by my mailbox, which is like 200 yards away from the stand roughly. So I always had wanted to try this, and I never really had an opportunity to where the circumstances were right, but I decided to grunt at this buck a couple times, and he started working his way across this field below our house and towards us into the woods by the creek bottom.
I see him coming. You see him now? He's by the creek.
And he hopped the creek, walked his way through the woods, and it was like the light was getting bad for the camera, like it was getting that fuzzy look to it, and I was worried about getting Liv her buck because it would have been the first buck she ever killed. So we videoed the buck some, but it was starting to get a little flighty. It came into about 30 yards. And she shot it, and we thought for sure she had missed because it just kind of hopped a little bit and then started walking, and it walked maybe 5 yards and just fell over. And I was saying, I think you missed, and right as I said missed, it fell over.
What do you think? Huh? So what do you think?
That's what I think.
Pull him out, see what he is. Nice 8. That's a nice spread. That's the buck we got on the camera behind my house.
Hold on, I gotta call my dad.
Yeah. That's a big buck.
Yeah, it was a nice heart shot, and we couldn't believe it. And she called everybody, my dad, her pappy, my pap, her mom, everybody.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey.
I just killed an 8-point.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
We hadn't seen anything all night. And Taylor said, we were sitting there, and Taylor went, deer, deer, deer. And I couldn't see him until he walked into the woods. And I still couldn't see him because there were trees in the way, and I finally saw him come up out of the creek.
That's the first time I ever grunted a deer, and that was awesome.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he was headed like in the opposite direction. I gave him a few grunts and he came in. He seen Liv start to stand up to shoot, and I gave him just another small grunt, and he turned a little bit more, and I said, I told her to like adjust because he moved out to 35, and she looks like she heart shot him. Pretty nice one though.
Did you track him? I mean, he's dead.
He fell over.
Yeah,
So
I watched him fall.
yeah, we thought
I thought I missed him because I shot him and he just stood there. And I was like, crap, you gotta be kidding. And then he started to run, and I
He
was
didn't even
like,
run.
no, it looked like he wanted to like start to, and he fell over.
That nice wide 8-point that had walked by my stand that morning, and we had some pictures of him earlier in the rut at that spot, and I was happy one of us got him this year. He's really wide 8-point.
So we were hunting the creek bottom stand last night. We went out about 2:30, 3 o'clock. We figured they would move yesterday. And we didn't see anything all night until around 6 o'clock. We saw 2 or 3 does moving, and it just kept getting closer to dark. And Taylor looked and said, "Liv, deer." And he came up from the field and through the creek. And I couldn't see him until he came up out of the creek. And the first time he gave me a shot, he was quartering to me, so I didn't want to take the shot. And he took a couple more steps, and I shot him at 35 yards. And he went about 5 yards and fell over.
We thought she missed at first because he acted real calm and he just fell. But let me zoom in on the rack a little. I'm not gonna ask you to twist his head because of how stiff he is. But real widespread. My dad said it was what, 17 3/4?
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Liv's buck was definitely one of the coolest archery hunts I've ever been on.
Yeah, and I'd like to congratulate Olivia for getting her first buck with a bow this year.
I got a phone call. As soon as I saw who was calling, it was Olivia. And it was still daylight, and I figured if she was calling, it was good news. So when I answered the phone, it was Olivia, and she had told me she just got a buck. She said an 8-point. She said that it come from the creek bottom, from the corner of the field in the creek bottom, and come up past her. And she shot and said it only went a few yards and fell over, and that was it. So I want to congratulate Olivia on her first buck, a real nice 8-point.
Today's November 5th, and we're here in the creek bottom stand. Liv killed a buck out of this spot Saturday.
this late in the season, I probably wouldn't have let that half rack walk. I would have shot him pretty quick. So November 9th came along, and I was seeing some bucks, and really little ones that I said earlier in the year I wasn't going to shoot, but I didn't have many opportunities left because of school and everything. So I was thinking, hey, if they come in, maybe I'll shoot them. And I had one come probably 45 yards on a quad trail right out in front of me. I was hunting the creek bottom stand where Liv had killed her buck a week before. So later that morning, I heard something to my right, and here came a buck. I could tell it was a legal one, and I mean, it wasn't exactly the nice big buck I pictured myself shooting earlier in the year, but it was something it was better than what I was going to shoot that morning. And it was coming behind me, and I was kind of worried I was going to have to stand up and turn around and shoot it. I was worried he was going to just walk away, and he was out there around 35-ish. Fast.
I needed to run to town. I needed to buy some propane for the smokehouse for some jerky and sticks I was doing for someone. And I went to Tractor Supply. So while I was in Tractor Supply, they had some hunting stuff in there. It was on sale, and I bought him a thing of buck bomb. And I was bringing it home for him to use. I figured since we was in the rut and the bucks was starting to cruise really well, that I'd bring that buck bomb. Anything might help. So I just paid for the buck bomb and my propane, and I was getting ready to leave Tractor Supplies in the truck, and my phone rings.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
I got him.
You got one?
Yeah, I think it's an 8.
Cool.
Pretty nice.
Did you see it go down?
Yeah, he flopped over.
It was a good thing I bought that buck bomb moments before.
Found my my arrow. It had broke off pretty short. I mean, not a ton of penetration. I must have hit some shoulder, but it broke off back there, and he was still alive, so I figured I'd put another one in him to expire him, but there he is. Not a huge 8, but I mean, it wasn't too far off with that shot. I guess it was just...
What I noticed about this buck when I recovered him is he had this big scar on it. Well, not a scar, but he had a cut on his back. And someone had definitely shot at him and sliced his back open. And
he's got something nasty going on his back. Looks like someone might have tried to shoot him already or something. But that's where my second shot hit him at.
Then the more and more we look at the footage and our trail camera pictures, this was definitely the buck that I almost shot on November 2nd, the day Liv killed her buck. And he didn't have that slice in his back since then, so he almost got shot twice in that 1 week, and he did get shot the third time.
Hey, Pap. I got one. Yeah.
These fourth arrow camera arms, they're set up so nice. I mean, I know muddy camera arms are nice too, but I'm telling you, get yourself a camera arm if you're serious about filming hunts. This is awesome.
I got on the side by side and went up and did a little bit of filming for his interview with him with his deer in the woods. I caught a quick glimpse of Sasquatch coming out of the creek bottom. I see Sasquatch.
Wait.
Fall on your face.
I wasn't sure where he was going to go, but he ended up making his way pretty much in a straight line behind the stand along the creek, and I gave him like a little sound to stop him, and it made him turn. Gave me a steep quarter and away shot, and I took it, and he fell over backwards, and I had to finish him off, but here we are. I thought I was going to be a rifle hunter again for the first time in 11 years, 10, 11 years.
Since he was 9.
But now, I ain't got to worry about that.
Yep.
That's my story.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Got all the construction supplies out here. We're in remodeling stage. Got to lean.
And I'd like to congratulate Taylor on a great hunt. He self-filmed it himself, and he made a nice shot and a good video out of it.
So, I wasn't really worried about killing a doe with a bow before archery season ended because I was very, very busy with school. So I decided on the last day, what the heck, I'm going to go behind my house, see if I can shoot a doe.
I thought I'd be done because I'm super busy with school. I got 3 exams and a project coming up this week. And Pat talked me into coming out today to try to shoot a doe. When it was still dark, pretty much, I had a hawk land on the branch beside me and squirt poop about this far away from us. I mean, he just really, he sent it.
I had some come out in front of me, and I don't know what happened.
I know what happened. You missed.
Well, I hope I missed, because it was real low. I'm out here looking for my arrow after I just missed that doe, or at least I hope I missed her, because I just looked at the footage, it was bad. I knew it was bad. So I think I'm gonna just hang it up for the day. I was skeptical about even coming out, but I ain't found my arrow yet, but I just came over here to look, and I tell you, I'm horrible at finding sheds, so I guess I gotta find them this time of the year whenever they break them off. But little, I think I know what buck this is from, actually. Yeah. I do know what buck this is from.
Also, during the archery season, while the inline was going on, Tracy Brown shot her first buck. It was a 7-point. She shot it at the farm. Matter of fact, I was sitting with Dad in his stand, was out one evening, and Barney had texted and said Tracy had just hit one, and I went out after dark to help him look for it. We tracked it a little ways, and it was bedded along the fence. It didn't go very far, but it was still alive, so with it being dark, we just had to wait it out, and it eventually had hopped the fence, but it only went about 10 yards on the other side of the fence and died. So congratulations, Tracy, to your first deer, or your first buck, rather.
Okay, and I'd like to give a congratulations to Tracy Brown on getting her first buck this year. She got a nice, what was it, 8-point, I think? 7-point. She got a nice 7-point out at the farm. And so, congratulations, Tracy.
The more content, the better. You're recording.
Yeah, I've been recording. I want my hoodie.
What do you want? You want it? You want it?
Taylor Anthony.
What's the matter?
Stop.
Do you want it?
Let's go.
I ain't got my hat on, so I feel a little naked, but
Don't record yet. You're already recording, aren't you?
Yep.
well, it's November 5th, I think. Wait, let me check.
I seriously just filmed that with my chin.